So, good day to everyone. Today we gonna discuss the kind of indigenous people in the Philippines. So, this discussion we gonna explain the location, geography, material culture, and etc. of these indigenous people. So first, we gonna discuss the Bugkalot and Ilonggot tribes. And by the way, the indigenous people are the original people in the certain place. Also called as natural people of a place. They are mostly tribes and clans that really came and live in that area for a long time. Indigenous peoples are distinct social and cultural groups that share collective ancestral ties to the lands and natural resources where they live, occupy, or from which they have been displaced. The land and natural resources on which they depend are inextricably linked to their identities, cultures, livelihoods, as well as their physical and spiritual well-being. The Bugkalot or Ilonggot, also called Ilonggot or Ibalao, are tribe inhabiting the southern Sierra Madre and Caraballo Mountains on the east side of Luzon in the Philippines, primarily in the provinces of Nueva Vizcaya and Nueva Ecija, and along the mountain border between the provinces of Quirino and Aurora. The Ilonggot are a forest people that live in Nueva Vizcaya province in Luzon, also known as the Ibalao. We can spell it um we can spell it I Ibalao, Ibilao, or Ibalaw. And the Ilonggot, Ilungut, or Iluongt. Mm. They are former headhunters and live in the enclave and have resist attempts to assimilate them. The Ilonggot are primarily in slash and born agriculturalists, hunters, and fishermen. So this image shows or portray the physical appearance of men and women, the Bugkalot or Ilonggot men and women. So we can proceed on the location of Bugkalot that where they found.
The location of Bugkalot is just a first I The location of Bugkalot found in the province of Nevesia, Nebeskaya, and Aurora. A first tribe known as Bugkalot or headhunters reside in the Sierra Madre and Calabao mountain range in the ancestral lands of Bugkalot tribes, which also known as Ilongot. Roughly about 390 square meters, 150 square miles of this range of beautiful country is considered their ancestral domain. They settled along banks of Cagayan River where provide fresh water, food, and shift mode transportation. The province's great distance, the Bugkalot tribe, more commonly known as lowlanders as Ilongot, are also located in northern part of island of Luzon in the Philippines, primarily province of Aurora, Nevesia, Nebeskaya, and Quirino. Thank you.
So now the geography of Bugkalot or Ilonggot.
So, Bugkalot was also known as Abacos, Ibalos, and Ilongot, as they were also fiercely. One major activity of them was the head counting, and it was marked on their lips as a man as it became part of their culture. So they've they they've a lot of cultures and heritage in which they are proud of, and one way to keep their rich history alive is through their traditional clothing and regalia. An important artifact on the hornbill headdress. The headdress symbolizes status and maturity, and only successful headhunters are eligible to the headdress.
The word view of Bugkalot. By the sixth day, they did change their name from Ilonggot to Bugkalot. They are also commonly referred to as Ilonggot, especially in order studies. But nowadays, the endonym Bugkalot is referred in modern ethnic research. They were formerly headhunters. The Bugkalot are known for their colorful attire, musical instruments, and artifacts. Their traditional outfit were blue G-string for the men and skirt wrapped around and held at the waist by a string. Their popular festive dance is called balileng. Balileng is one of the famous Filipino folk song, which is Sama de Laot and or Tausog in origin that has been passed through generations. The composer or the writer of the song was not credited and was in Visayan in Tagalog.
Material culture of Bugkalot. Men and women clearing the ground of rice planting. There are about 87 Bugkalots. Bugkalots tend to inhabit areas close to river to provide food source and means for transportation. 50 50,000 people of Bugkalot, they also speak the Ilocano language. Their herbal medicine was yakun, arbabena, laya, tanglad. Yakun, yakun polynomia sanchifolia is for hyperglycemia, blood purifier, fertility in, enhancer, yerba vena, menta, arvensis len, for menstrual cramps, stomach pain, rice boil, and drink tea. Laya, yellow ginger, korma muscle pain, to relieve muscle pain, slice soak in any oil. Tangled, lemongrass, andropogon centratus for cleansing, lowers blood pressure. Headdresses made if hornbill, shell wire, rattan, and hair. Bracelet made of brass, beads, and mother of pearl. Necklace made of brass, mother of pearl, and beads. Men's ear pendant made of hornbill, decks of shell, beads, and brass. Earrings made of shell, brass, and beads. Pendant made of Japanese coins, brass, aluminum, and glass. Hair ornament. Men's ear pendants, baffling made of hornbill, brass, shell, and cotton.
Social organization of Bugkalot. The word of social organization is pattern of relationship between and among individuals and social group. Characteristic of social organization can include qualities such as sexual composition, spatio-temporal cohesion, leadership, structure, division of labor, and communication system. Bugkalot comes into being. The original and true tribal name Bugkalot was declared as our official name when the overall organization of Bugkalot lands, Bugkalot Confederation, was organized in 1967, headed by our former chieftain Molina Salvador. Our elder agreed to use a name that comes from us instead of Ilonggot, which is not from us. The history of Bugkalot is called their tribe and language. Bugkalot from the root word kalot means interweave or interwoven. The mistake of non-Bugkalot and even the anthropologists who live with us in the village is that they sometimes call us by using pedo names like Italon, Abacas, and Ibalaw. The Bugkalot tribe, more commonly known to lowlander as Ilonggot, pursuant to the 1987 Constitution, Republic Act Number 8371, and its implementing rules and regulation, also known as the Indigenous Peoples' Right Act of 1997. Bugkalot are traditionally an animistic people which different name for their goods in the field. He is called Yoma, God in the field or farm in the water, Pingit on the ground, Idigin in the forest, Igungot, and others.
Historical events, important events of Bugkalot. Courtship dance, Tagem of the Ilonggot indigenous people of Bayanihan Aurora. It is composed of spon- spontaneous bodily movements in the beat of the kulising and sepal music instrument. During the old times, Ilongot marriage unions known as lango were traditionally decided by begange or community elders. The contending males will enter the padong or duel through this tag. The padong is a public display of man's strength and ability to subdue his opponent to win the approval of the beganget.
When Agta lovers decide to be married, the man, together with his parents and elders of the community, goes to the house of the woman and talk to her parents. The group discusses and decides on the details and other matters for the wedding. If both parties agreed, the wedding date is decided before the wedding. Some Agta men hunt animals, others catch fish, while the women, together with the bride, prepare and cook the food for the wedding. They are not used to clothe themselves, especially the upper portion of their body. So to protect themselves from colds, they chewed betel nut, an indigenous body heater among the Agta. That is why during significant occasions, they use betel nut as a symbolic representation of the event. The wedding ceremony is usually done nowadays. Wedding among the Agtas sometimes celebrated and solemnized by a pastor or a government official in Lupig, Iligan, Isabela. So let's proceed to the issue confronting to the Bugkalot or Ilonggot. The Bugkalot or Ilonggot were awarded in the Certificate of Ancestral Domain title or CADT issued by the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples in joyful celebration on February 24 to 2006. The CADT is contemporary assertion of indigenous people ability to negotiate claims to land, livelihood, and autonomy within the nation states. So far, however, the acquisition of the Bugkalot or Ilonggot, CADT has not made any substantial difference in the everyday lives of the people of Jinjin, a settlement located at the heartland of Bugkalot area. Not only does the trend of in-migration of lowland settler and other indigenous groups continue, there are heightening social tensions caused by growing numbers of land grabbing incidents among the Bugkalot themselves. And this issue examined in the context of state promote settlement projects, the advance of capitalism, and the process of commodification, which have given rise to a new nation of exclusive and ownership. state provision of land rights and capitalist market forces have combined to shape land relations in new and often surprising ways. By exposing some of the diverse and changing forms of dispossession, as well as the failure of barangay officials and government agencies in mediating and resolving land disputes. This article questions whether the seemingly novel avenues that the Philippine state has taken to legitimate indigenous people rights in practice actually extend state control. And additionally, for the world view of um, Bugkalot, the Bugkalot were able to avoid destruction thanks to the effort of missionaries who convinced the Bugkalot to stop raiding and killing people in neighboring provinces. It was a long and difficult process. In fact, last known ceremonial headhunt took place in 1980s. Hunting was considered important rite of passage that marked manhood. Although they are no longer headhunters, the Bugkalot are proud of their culture and heritage. So, by the help of missionaries, um, the Bugkalot was stopped in raiding and killing people. And the missionaries is um sila yung nag-ano ng Christianity sa Bugkalot so that na-stop yung pag-hand hunt ng mga Bugkalot. Then for the material culture of Bugkalot, the headdress symbolizes status and maturity, and only successful headhunters are eligible to don the headdress. The word don, yun yung parang leader ng Bugkalot, which is nakasuot sa kanya yung headdress. It is made from rattan frame, decorated with brass, wire, and red yarn and shells. So, we proceed to the Agta and Aita.
So, the location of Agta groups. There are many Agta tribes stratified over region 1 to 5. In the island of Luzon, the mountain Erega Agtas reside west of Lake Bunhi in southern Caramines Sur, Bicol region. Itas are also found in Zambales, Tarlac, Pampanga, Panay, Bataan, and Nueva Ecija, but were forced to move off settlement areas in Pampanga and Tarlac, following the devastating mountain Pinatubo eruption in June 1991. The area's take on Capi is about 700 kilometers, about half is covered by primary rainforest, although the bigger trees have been turned by longer during the last 2 decades. Yun.
So now let's proceed to the Agta or Aita geography.
There are different views on the dominant character of the Aita religion. Those who believe that they are monotheistic argued that various Aita tribes believe in a supreme being who rules over lesser spirit or deities, with the Aita of Mount Pinatubo worshiping Apuna. So the Aita tribes believe that spirits, either be good or bad, lives in the environment such as the spirit of the river, sea, sky, mountains, hill, valley, and other places. Hence, there's no specific occasion for them to pray. Maybe because they can praise their god or gods anytime. Yet, there was a clear link between prayer and economic activities. It may be sound funny to us, but Aitas have this custom to which they perform an apology dance to their catch, as well as to ensure the charm of it. The night before, Aita woman gather selfish. Similarly, the men hold a bee dance before and after the expeditions for hunting. In the mid-60s, missionaries of the American-based Evangelical Protestant Mission Group, New Tribes Mission, in their effort to reach every Philippine tribal group with the Christian gospel, reached out to the Agtas, ATAS. The mission agency provided education including pastoral training or natives to reach members of their own tribe. All ATA communities have adopted the language of their Australian, Australian, Austronesian Filipino neighbor, which have sometimes diverged over time to become different languages. These include in order of number of speakers, Magendi, Mag-ansi, Abilien, Ambala, and Maribelieno. Aitas are characterized by their skin color, height, and hairstyle. They mostly have dark to dark brown skin, curly hair, and eyes that are similar to those of gathering indigenous people. They are actually among the most skilled when it comes to jungle survival and survival. They are even able to make use of plants as herbal medicine and possess tools and weapons. While they are nomadic, they are able to build temporary houses made of stick. Most Aitas practice monotheism are animists. They worship a supreme being at the same time also believe in environmental spirits. They believe that various places in our environment are being covered by both good and evil spirits. As for their clothing, they wear plain and simple attire. Traditional Aitas who are skilled in weaving and plaiting wear wrap around skirt or bra cloth for women and Leon cloths for men. They are also into music and the arts, making use of ornaments as accessories and have ensembles of instruments to create melodious rhythms.
Um, Most itas practice monotheism and animism. Um, Monotheism, um, they are believed that, or Agta believe that they are only one God. It's monotheism. While animists, they believe that all plants and animals have spirits and also their themselves. So now let's proceed to the worldview of the Agta and Aita tribes.
The Aitas are skillful in weaving and plating. Women exclusively weave windows and mats. Only men make armlets. They also produce raincoats made of palm leaves whose bases surround the neck of the wearer, and whose topmost part is spread like a fan all around the body. The Agtas believe that evil spirits are the usual cause of illness. They still practice a ritual called kagon, a for- form of spirit healing performed with dance, song, and guitar music to exorcise the devil from ailing individuals.
Auxiliary quarter of Agta or Ita. The Philippine government does not want to aid the Agta because they are very sickly people. Agta are poor and have a lot of medical issues. The main causes of death among the adults are tuberculosis, pneumonia, leprosy, and alcoholism. Female have the issue of complication during childbirth. Agta are losing more people than they are gaining. Language needs people to survive, or it will vanish. Agta are strong people and have endured a lot. Their language is a beautiful and will be such a shame to lose. Over 150 dialects and language in the Philippines and over 7,100 islands. The official language is Tagalog and English. The Philippine government would like to make English the official language considering it is language of advancement. Philippines are ready to economically take a step forward. Masses would like to speak their native language. Encourage outsiders to speak their language and they believe that it's very easy to pick up. History. All of Philippine Negritos are assumed to be aboriginals of that archipelago, having migrated into those islands 20,000 to 30,000 years ago. Thousands of years of living relatively stable and adaptive life in the rainforest. Today, under severe deculturation, forests is being cut back. Immigrants are depleting their game and fish resources. They are being herded onto small reservation by the government. Change is being imposed on them by various development agencies. Settlement. 60% of Agta comes in the forest, or the other 40% are found on the coastal beaches of the Pacific Ocean, open bushland, coconut groves. Few camps are located directly under the forest canopy. Agta move their camps often like every 18 days and in other study every 29 days. Religious belief. Agta did not take their religion very seriously. Strong belief in a spirit world containing many classes of supernatural beings. Depending on the class of spirit, beings are said to reside in trees underground, on rocky headlands, or in caves. Two general classes of being of these beings, hayop or creature, and belat or anito or ghost. Religious practitioners. Religious practitioners do only white magic. Shaman or bonogan, defined by the Agta as an individual who has familiar spirit friend or bunuk. Ceremonies. Shaman treat their patients with herbal medicine and simple prayers to their spirit friends. Herbal medicinal treatments, seances, and simple sacrifice are the only religious ceremonies. Arts. Women weave baskets and sleeping mats. Men make many types of fine arrow. Traditional music consists of singing solos using three-tone scale. the use of three types of simple musical instruments: a simple string instrument, a bamboo juice harp, and hunting bows. They sometimes strum. Social organization of Agta or ITA.
The social organization of Aita Magbukin revolves around the nuclear family as the basic social unit of the community. However, this nuclear family is interdependent on other nuclear families bound together by kinship. The role of kinship and the extent of social differentiation and integration differ among societies. Kinship can be defined order and express relationship between rights and obligation with a community. In this sense, it's not only create both harmony and structure within group relationships, but can also be responsible for causing conflict when expectations surrounding kinship are not imposed or observed. Aita is the first people to come to the Philippines, and they were called Atis or Aitas from mainland Asia about 25,000 years ago. The Aitas or Negritos were very small people and less than 5 feet tall. They also called Aitas Negritos because they have black skin, short kinky hair, thick lips, and black noses. And lastly, the Bugkalot, like any other people, have innate pride in their unique culture. Outsider and lowlanders often wonder why we unashamed refer to ourselves such as we call our tribe and language Bugkalot from the root word kalot meaning interweave or interwoven. Our lifestyle is generally interwoven as can be seen in the way we build our houses which must be interwoven with rattan. Our costumes and native attire must also be interwoven with many colorful decorations. Our artifact too and traditionally interwoven with rattan or bamboo and other endemic natural materials like feathers, animals, and etc. The Bugkalot tribe, more commonly known to lowlanders as Ilonggots, are located in the northern part of the island of Luzon in the Philippines, primarily in province of Aurora, Nueva Ecija, Nueva Vizcaya, and Quirino.
Historical events, important events of Aitas. The Aita people in the Philippines are often grouped with other Negritos, such as the Semang and the Malay Peninsula, and, and sometimes grouped with Aus- Australopithecines, which includes groups such as the native of Australia and Papuans, as well as partially the Melanesians of the Solomon Islands. Vanuatu, Fiji, and the French overseas special collective.
The Aita, the first Philippine people. The Aitas pronounced as Aitas are among the earliest known migrants or inhabitants of the Philippines. Over the years, the majority of their population managed to keep their cultural practices and traditions. But sadly, as one of the indigenous in the country, they also face challenges such as displacement, marginalization, and poverty. So the Aita is has a similarity to the Bugkalot, which is um they also the first people on the Philippines. The history of Aitas. According to historians, the Aitas, also known as Agtas, are Australo-Melanesians. Historical accounts suggest that they are of the same group as those of Aborigines in Australia and Melanesians of Solomon Islands. While they closely resemble physical characteristics such as curly hair and dark colored skin, it is not clear as to how they arrived in the Philippines.
Most historians point to the Bering Land Bridge theory to explain the history of the Aitas. This theory suggests that the Aitas reached the Philippines because of the land bridge or narrow strait that connected all and masses in the world. According to the theory, hunters at that time crossed this land bridge, but due to the movement of plates underneath the Earth's surface, these migration paths eventually disappeared. Therefore, events those with no intent to colonize new lands were unable to return to their original homes.
By the help of bridges or bridge, um, yung mga Aita or Agta is nakarating dito sa Philippines. And sabi dito, according to this theory, hunters at the same crossed these land bridges but due to the movement of plates underneath the Earth's surface. So yun nga, nagamit nila yung bridge para maka-reach dito sa Philippines.
Their distinguished characteristic and practices. Aitas are characterized by their skin color, height, and hair style. They mostly have dark to dark brown skin, curly hair, and usually below 5 feet tall. Then, Aitas are living traditionally. So, ibig sabihin nito is they hunting animals in the forest. They can have their foods to eat. And additionally, they uses plants, mostly herbs, to cure sicknesses. Their house is the hospital as well. Furthermore, they are pneumatic. They are able to build temporary houses made of sticks. Most Aitas practice monotheism and are enemies. They worship supreme beings and at the same time also believe that various places in our environment are being covered by both good and evil spirits. They do believe that all the things have their own guardians. It may either be a bad or good evil spirit.
As for their clothing, they wear plain and simple attire. Traditional Aitas who are skilled in weaving and plaiting wear wrap around skirts or bark cloth for women and lion cloths for men. They are also into music and arts, making use of ornaments as accessories and have in symbols of instruments to create melodious rhythms. Aitas, they are also wear simple plain t-shirt like us. Um, not other tribes na they are wear a bahog, yung tawag doon. Basta, yung mga ITAS is simple wear lang ang kanilang sinusuot.
Colonial resistance and unfortunate displacement, because they usually scattered in the mountains areas, and Spaniards had a hard time introducing Catholicism to their population. They mostly resisted to change, which made it difficult for the Spanish to colonize their areas. This is also one of the reasons why they were able to prevent their culture, traditions, and belief through today.
And Catholicism, is the tradition and belief of Catholic churches. It refers to their theology, liturgy, moral, and spirituality. The term usually refers to the churches, both Western and Eastern, that are in full communion with the Holy See.
Mostly Etas can be found in the northern part of Luzon. According to historical accounts, they have lived near a Mount Pinatubo in Zambales for thousands of years, but when Mount Pinatubo erupted in 1981, it devastated the Etas population. The majority lost their homes, while some resided in the urban areas. They gave away to Etas being modernly influenced by prevailing Filipino culture and practice. Some Etas have really married Filipino. Most Etas also go to school nowadays.
Okay, so next yung issues confronting the Agta or ITAS. Aita is one of the many groups of indigenous people inhabiting the Philippines, particularly the Zambales Aitas of Central Luzon. Interestingly, the IPs or the indigenous peoples have given much importance in formal education until the tertiary level, as shown by the increasing number of IP enrollees in college and universities. However, ITAs who enter the higher education institution confront a multitude of problems and issues, from personal to social aspects.
We all know naman na ang mga indigenous people like Aitas, hindi sila ganun ka active to go to school or universities or colleges, which is they have a reason why they're not go to school or have a study ganon, dahil they are afraid to bullied. And so that some of the Aita is kulang sa kalaman example noon is do sa kanilang way of medicine, which is gumagamit sila ng mga ritual or mga spirit prayer para makapaggamot o makapaggaling ng kanilang kapwang Aita. And because of that, Aitas want to enter in the higher education institution para siguro mabawasan yung mga issues na tinatapon sa kanila regards to their education rate. And that's all. Thank you for listening. By the way, we are the group 4 who assigned the Bugkalot or Longot and Agta or Aita. Thank you again.